Hey there! Before we start the podcast, I need you to put down that wavebird and listen up.
I need money.
For a tenth of what the price of that wireless GameCube controller costs,
That should be like $5 if you got it off Shop Goodwill.
you can support me here at the podcast of Two Consoles Too Late.
I need to buy more games.
Your support gets bonus content like additional episodes, Discord server access, typewriter manifestos, and personal shoutouts on the airwaves.
I actually have a typewriter.
Vote on Patreon polls to see what video game I talk about next.
Nothing on Atari 2600.
So go to patreon.com/2consoles2late because what the world needs is more stick it! Okay, if you know that sound, then you know the game. Hello, and welcome to the Two Consoles Too Late podcast. I am the host, Jackson Keebler, and I am Two Consoles Too Late. This episode, I'm talking about Silent Hill, the original for the PlayStation. I finally got to sit down and play it. On the last podcast, I talked with Nick from Super Nicktendo, who had done a video about the prices of Silent Hill. And I decided to finally pull the trigger on this survival horror masterpiece, ? Asterisk. Stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of fun. Alright, so before we start talking about the game Silent Hill, a couple disclaimers, what have you, here at Two Consoles Too Late. I have absolutely no nostalgia for this game. I did not play this game when it came out. Okay? The only nostalgia is a strange memory that I have when this game did come out. My friend Brian and I think we were at a gas station. Once again, I don't know how I remember this. My friend Brian's telling me, he's like, yeah, I started playing this game. It's called Silent Hill. It is fucking creepy. And he loved all that kind of stuff. He loved the zombies. He loves the horror. He was that guy. I've never really been that much into horror. So that's the only quote-unquote memory I have of this game. Up until 2 weeks ago, I have never played this game. And the reason I played the game, mostly, was because I wanted to see why this game is so expensive. And once again, go over to the YouTubes, check out Super Nicktendo. I did a video about the prices of Silent Hill and the retronomics therein. So let's go right into Auction Alert and take a look at Silent Hill.
Auction alert.
Alright, so the price chart in prices for Silent Hill, we have the Black Label version and the Greatest Hits version. Those are the only two versions. Apparently, there's a variant of the Black Label. I don't want to get into the whole collecting aspect. I'm just looking for a baseline. So, the price chart in price for Silent Hill, as of now, at the time of this podcast, is $216. That's for the Black Label version. The Greatest Hits version is running about $188. So, any copy of Silent Hill right now is going to be about $200. A loose copy, you're going to see about a $50 price drop without the case and the manual. Not a cheap game. I saw a copy at my local retro video game store. Of course, they had one behind the glass case, and it was $250. I'll put that on the Instagrams if I haven't already. So yes, this game is expensive and it can be had. Head on over to the shop Goodwills. A copy just sold last night. It came with a lot of 10 games. Once again, I don't know why they put all these games together. Silent Hill was included with Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, amongst others. This auction ended and it sold for $621. And the title was simply a lot of 10 items, including Sony PlayStation 1. So another crappy title. This came from the Goodwill of Western and Northern Connecticut. Right now, though, there are live auctions for Silent Hill. A single black label copy right now. Let's see here. There's 3 days left on the auction with 9 bids, and this is up to 126. Apparently, it has the registration card, so if you're a collector, I guess that's kind of important. I'm guessing, of course, that is going to hit the $200 mark easy. So any search for Silent Hill on the shop Goodwills, you get a lot of Silent Hill 2s. You get, Silent Hill Downpour. There's a lot of sequels with the Silent Hill franchise, but to get the OG Silent Hill, it can be had. There are 2 copies. Like I said, that one is up to 126. There's another one. This one is up to $96.99 with 4 days, 14 hours left on the auction, 17 bids. So once again, it's going to probably hit that $200 mark. So why is this game $200? So it's like around Halloween, people always break out, "Ooh, the spooky games. It's the spooky season." Oh. And of course, Silent Hill is always in that conversation. So let's go. Let's dive into Silent Hill for the PlayStation. So a documentary came across my feed from Anthony over at the Retro Gamers podcast. A documentary called Terabytes came out. The first episode is free on YouTube, but you can download the whole documentary for $20. It's really good. It's about the history of survival horror video games. And of course, Silent Hill was in that conversation. So as I was watching the documentary, of course it came to Silent Hill, and I kind of had to fast forward because I didn't really want any spoilers because I was still playing the game. My experience, and this is just my take on it, there's kind of 2 camps when it comes to survival horror. There's Resident Evil, which is more action-based, and then there's Silent Hill, which is, I guess, a little bit more psychological. And from what I can tell, and I haven't played Resident Evil yet, I think Silent Hill is just a little bit more my speed. But that, like I said, this is very limited experience. So Silent Hill was released in February of 1999 from Konami. Capcom released Resident Evil. So this was, I guess, Konami's answer to that. So Silent Hill was developed by Team Silent over at Konami. The influences, I'm guessing they drew from a vast library of the horror genre. As I was playing Silent Hill, I kept thinking about Twin Peaks. I don't know why. It's just that that's where my mind went. If I had to picture Silent Hill being any place in America, it perhaps could have been in a Pacific Northwest-y kind of place, but it could have been anywhere. It could have been in, Arizona for all I know. Can't tell because there's, you're walking through a giant fog, so you can't see what's 10 feet in front of you. So my imagination at the age of 45 just kind of went to the Pacific Northwest because, that's the land of serial killers and that's where creepy shit happens, right? So the town of Silent Hill, fictional place, we don't know where it exists. We know it's near a lake. Once again, the horror genre just likes being near lakes. What is the story breakdown of Silent Hill? Well, it's really complex. Harry Mason is searching for his adopted daughter Cheryl in the town of Silent Hill. He gets in a car crash and he wakes up in the foggy town of Silent Hill. And he sees his daughter run away. And the whole game you are trying to find Cheryl. But in your adventures, you come across other characters, like the police officer Sybil and Dr. Kaufman and Nurse Lisa Garland. So there are other characters in this game as well. And the all-important Dahlia Gillespie, the motherly witch of Alessa. Spoiler alert. There's a lot of themes in Silent Hill: parental guilt, cults, trauma, and of course, psychological horror. The gameplay of Silent Hill has a fixed camera view with tank controls. This took a lot of getting used to. And apparently Resident Evil also had these tank controls because they want to control the experience through the camera angles. And I have to say that's done very well. However, I do not like these tank controls one bit. And as I was playing, I didn't realize on my second playthrough that to quickly turn around and run away from an enemy, you just pressed L1 and R1 at the same time, which caused you to do an about face. I wish I had known that. But I didn't read the hints after I died, and I died numerous times. The combat of Silent Hill is very clunky. And I'm not sure if that was deliberate or not. I'm just going to say that they did that on purpose. I think the people at Konami are pretty smart. But the combat is very clunky, especially melee combat. And your melee weapons include the pipe, the kitchen knife, the hammer, and the axe. Also, there is a katana, but I could not obtain the katana. And then you acquire certain firearms to assist you in killing the various beasts and zombies and what have yous of Silent Hill. And those firearms include the pistol, the shotgun, and the hunting rifle. The hunting rifle, I guess, was the more powerful of the three. Now, in Game Plus, you could get, like I said, the katana. Apparently, you could get the katana in the, I forget the name of the house. The first house you go into, there's a locked door, but if you, on your second playthrough, that door was supposed to be unlocked. And I'm not sure if I did something wrong, but on my second playthrough, I tried to open that door and get the katana. Couldn't do it. So I was unable to get the katana. I was also unable to get the chainsaw and the rock drill. Now, I could go see the chainsaw and I could go see the rock drill at the drawbridge. But for those weapons to work, you needed gasoline. Now, I went to the gas station of Silent Hill in the first area, and you walk into the garage where the gasoline is supposed to be, but for some reason there was no gasoline. And I don't know why that happened. I'm just going to chalk it up to my first playthrough. I got the bad ending. All right. And that was my expectation going into it because I didn't use walkthroughs or the puzzles. I think there was maybe one puzzle, the piano puzzle. I did need a little bit of help for that. But then once I figured out the trick, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So I was unable to get the chainsaw or the rock drill as melee weapons. So I cannot speak to those weapons. But anyway, all that being said, the combat of Silent Hill is for shit. Once you do have a firearm, the auto aim, you press R2. The auto aim is for shit. The timing of trying to kill enemies, I would just button mash like I always do. But the melee weapons, if you tried to kill anything with a melee weapon, there was a technique that I just couldn't nail down, as it were. So the combat, very, very clunky. Now, there is a lot of exploration within the town of Silent Hill. There's a definite emphasis on atmosphere. There's puzzles throughout the game, which I loved. And there's an eerie silence. There's no music as you walk through the town of Silent Hill, which of course is the way it should be. There is the genius mechanic, and I have to give this to Konami. The radio static. So as you're leaving the cafe at the beginning of the game, you pick up all these things, and one of them, of course, is the all-important radio. And the radio starts doing its thing when an enemy comes by. Now, apparently it played different sounds for different enemies. For the most part, when that radio started going off, I just started running. that was my experience. So yes, the radio static I thought was absolutely brilliant. And if you go into the menu, you can actually turn the radio off. And as I was playing Silent Hill, I was thinking, a different way to play, because, can't really sequence break this game, but you could turn off your radio. You could also turn off your flashlight. But if you turned off your flashlight, you couldn't look at the map, which, once again, I thought that was really well done. There's multiple levels of Silent Hill. So within the town of Silent Hill, we've got, what do we got? The first part is just Silent Hill. And then after you go to the elementary school, you go to Old Silent Hill across the drawbridge. And then from Old Silent Hill, you go to the resort area. But to get to the resort area, you had to go through the sewers of Silent Hill. And then ultimately you end up in the Nowhere, which is basically just the hospital, but a little bit different. And like I said, within the town of Silent Hill, there's places you have to go. First, you go to the elementary school. Then you go to the hospital. But you can go to other places like the convenience store, the police station. You can go to the roof of the post office where there's a boss fight. And I'm going to talk about these quote-unquote bosses in a little bit. All right, the sound and graphics of Silent Hill. Now, these are at the core of this video game. The sound designer, Akira Yamaoka, knocked this one out of the park. It's minimalistic. There's industrial noises. There's unsettling silences. And the music itself at the beginning, it's not your typical video game music. It's, what is it? A ukulele? A balalaika? I don't know what acoustic instrument that is. But it's different, but it worked. And I've had a couple quotes from Akira Yamaoka. With Silent Hill, I really thought I could change what game music is. And he did. There is no background music in Silent Hill. I tried to depict the sounds that would be heard in the world of Silent Hill if it existed, using the art of conveying sound through air vibrations. The stereotypical sounds that are often described as quote-unquote game music do not apply to Silent Hill at all. I also avoided trying to make quote-unquote cinematic music, as I felt it would sound too intentional. So, here is a small example of Akira Yamaoka's sound design. Please enjoy. I mean, the music's like almost playful. It's like, there is a level in the game that takes place at an amusement park, but I just hearing that, it's like you're being toyed with, which you are being toyed with by Konami. I mean, they knew exactly what they were doing. So even like just little tracks like that gave me goosebumps as I was playing Silent Hill. But the legacy of Silent Hill, we all know what it is. It led to multiple sequels. Silent Hill 2 is often considered the best, and the prices for that are just as high as the original. Silent Hill was made into a film in 2006. I did watch the film, and unfortunately I watched the film before I played the game, thinking that somehow the film informed the game, which is not the case. Speaking of video game movies, check out the Retro Gamers podcast. I just did a guest host appearance with him talking about video game movies. So hop on over to that podcast and check that out. But this game influenced every horror game that came after. There's so many to talk about. Once again, check out that documentary, Terror Bites, which I think is a great name. Terror Bites, Bytes, like memory. Ha ha ha. Great documentary that talks about, the core of, where these games started, of course, with Resident Evil and Silent Hill, and then thereon. But after Silent Hill, Team Silent disbanded, and that led to inconsistent sequels. So there's numerous sequels for Silent Hill, and I don't want to talk about them because I haven't played them, and there's a lot of them. Silent Hill 2 just got a remake that was released in October, and according to the YouTubes and social medias, it was quite the experience that enhanced the original. And Konami has announced that they are doing a remake of Silent Hill. So the original Silent Hill is going to get the treatment that Silent Hill 2 got. So, as I was playing Silent Hill, knowing that this remake was in the works, I was like, okay, well, what would I like to see in a remake of Silent Hill? And I always get sort of fuzzy when they say, remake, remaster. So apparently, like, a remaster is, okay, we released this game on the PlayStation, and now it's going to be on the PlayStation 5, so we're going to make it better. Like Metroid Prime was released on the GameCube. We released it for the Switch, and we're not changing the game. We're just going to make it better. So I always get kind of confused when, I hear the term remake and remaster. And then you get into things like HD collection, and then my mind just completely checks out. So I put together a very loose wish list of things I would like to see in the Silent Hill remake. Now, here's a caveat. When the Silent Hill remake comes out, it's going to be on modern consoles, so I do not have a modern console. The Silent Hill 2 remake is on PS5 and the newest Xbox. And, of course, I'm not going to go buy a new console just to play a remake of Silent Hill. But I'll be curious to see it. So what am I wishing for? I would like to see, if they changed anything, more puzzles. I just thought the puzzles of Silent Hill, while I wouldn't say difficult, were just fun. And that was like one of the biggest parts that I enjoyed of Silent Hill was figuring out, okay, there's a severed hand holding down a plate. Well, I went in this room and I found a bottle of acid. All right, pour the acid over the hand and you get the plate. I mean, and the game was filled with that. And I really enjoyed that. And games like, Tomb Raider, a lot of these early games, I just get so jazzed with puzzles. So I would like to see more puzzles in the Silent Hill remake. And of course, I'm guessing in the Silent Hill 2 remake, they updated the controls because Silent Hill tank controls just don't work. And we saw this with the Tomb Raider remaster of Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3. You could play with the original controls, but they also had updated controls. So better controls and better combat. Once again, that auto aim was for shit. And spoiler alert, so I got to the last boss on my second playthrough. And I forget what they called it. Incubus. The name of the final boss was Incubus, but that's only if you're going for the good or good plus ending. So the auto aim was for shit. And as you're trying to kill Incubus, you didn't see Incubus. I mean, you saw that you were aiming your firearm to the sky where Incubus was, but You didn't actually see Incubus as you were trying to defeat it. So I took a little issue there. But one area that I really took issue with Silent Hill, and I'm not sure whether it's going to be improved upon in the remake, is the voice acting. I just thought the voice acting of Silent Hill was dry. I think they just sound bored and uninterested. I mean, given the situation, I think Harry would sound a little bit more passionate considering his daughter is lost somewhere in this town. It's fucking creepy as hell. I think there'd be a little bit more fear or purpose in his voice, but there just was none. So I took a brief snippet from the game. This is a conversation you have with Dr. Kaufman. And Dr. Kaufman comes across as somewhat evil. But Harry just sounds completely bored. So here you go.
Have you seen a little girl anywhere? I'm looking for my daughter. She's only 7, short, black hair.
She's missing. I'm sorry. But with all those monsters around, I highly doubt that she's... Sorry, I didn't mean to alarm you.
So there you go. Dr. Kaufman sounds a little evil, but he doesn't sound very evil enough. I don't know. And then, Harry, have you seen my daughter? I cannot find my daughter. We're in a car crash. We're on a vacation. It's just dry. So I thought that could be helped in the remake if they improve upon it. We shall see what we shall see. But as I was playing Silent Hill, a couple things that I noticed, and these are just strange observations that only I, Two Consoles Too Late, could ever have. And these are in no particular order, and they're just sort of off the top of my head. When you get to the school, as you go into the different rooms looking for stuff, you come across bullets. This is Columbine was kind of a thing, and school shootings was in the headlines. So the fact that there was bullets in a school kind of had me scratching my head. Of course, this game was rated M for mature because these games created that system of rating video games for their content. The animation of Harry Mason running was awful. I don't know. They just dropped the ball on that one. It looks like you just crapped your pants and you're looking for a spot pot. I mean, his knees don't even bend. It was just really disturbing. This is me being me. I really took issue with that animation. So in the Silent Hill remake, improve the running animation, please. Make it look like you're actually running. So there we go. I'm getting a little long in the tooth when talking about Silent Hill. We all know what it is. If you play video games, you definitely know what Silent Hill is and what it represents. And if you don't play video games, you know what Silent Hill is, probably because of the movies and the sequel. Apparently, Silent Hill is getting another movie. I'm not too sure about that. But anyway, I did it. I played my first survival horror game, and I really enjoyed it. And I really respect this one. Once again, I think Silent Hill is just a little bit more my speed than Resident Evil. One day I will sit down and play Resident Evil and then probably, compare Resident Evil with Silent Hill and see the disparities therein. But this game just launched a whole genre of games. A couple that come to mind: Fatal Frame, Eternal Darkness, Alan Wake. I mean, there's so many of these survival horror games. But I think this one is the original. This one is a masterpiece of the time. Yeah, sure. Back in 1999, my buddy was creeped out to all hell playing a video game, which is pretty good. I'll be curious to play Silent Hill 2. I'm in no rush to play it. Certainly in no rush to go out and find a copy and pay $200 for it. I can see, people shelling out that kind of money for a video game, especially, I would say, one of this importance, because I think this is an important video game. But for me, now I want to play other survival horror games, but not your typical ones. The next survival horror game I'm playing is on the Sega Dreamcast. I'm going to be playing Shadow Man. And I think my experience of Silent Hill will somewhat inform my experience with that game. And another survival horror game I want to get my hands on actually playing is Cursed Mountain for the Wii. I came across a sealed copy of that, and I sold it on the eBays for $40. But I would like to, try something a little bit different, something a little bit off the wall when it comes to the survival horror genre. So, Silent Hill, good game, highly recommend. You got $200, have at it. So there you go, another episode from Two Consoles Too Late. I've been the host, Jackson Keebler. You can check me out on the interwebs. Just go over to Google and type in Two Consoles Too Late, and there I will be. I have no upcoming appearances. I actually turned down Harrisburg Comic-Con because I have to work. I'm a little disappointed about that. I'm going to get out of here. It is a gross, hot day in Baltimore. I'm going to an estate sale. I'm going to hang out with a bunch of resellers and try to get my hands on a Sony Trinitron and see what other treasures await me. I don't think there's going to be any video games. Head on over to the YouTubes. I just did another Flea Wars video of me at the flea markets. That was kind of fun. And I'm going to try and make a video of this estate sale just to show how crazy it is out there. But as always, have a good one. I love you, and goodbye. The final boss, Incubus, is only if you're going for good or good plus ending. Once again, why am I talking about this?